You're tired, not just physically tired, soul tired. Tired of working so hard for so little. Tired of watching others seem to effortlessly create the life you're struggling to build. Tired of being told to work harder when you're already giving everything you have. What if I told you that your exhaustion isn't proof that you're not working hard enough? What if it's actually proof that you're working in the wrong direction entirely? Right now, there's someone making more money in one day than you make in a month. They're not working longer hours than you. They're probably working fewer hours than you. They're not more educated than you. Many of them never finished college. They're not more talented than you. They just understand something about money that you don't. Something that changes everything. So what's the difference? What do they know that you don't? Today I want to share something with you that might disturb you at first. It might even anger you, but if you stay with me, if you really listen, this could be the conversation that changes everything for you. The lie you've been sold is this: work harder and you'll get ahead. Put in more hours and success will follow. Sacrifice more of yourself and eventually you'll be rewarded. This is perhaps the most destructive myth of our time, and you've been living it every single day. Here's the truth that no one wants to tell you. Rich people don't work harder than you. They work differently. They think differently. Most importantly, they relate to money in a completely different way than you do. You see, while you're grinding away, believing that your effort equals your income, wealthy people understand something profound. Money isn't earned through sweat alone. Money flows toward those who understand its true nature. Money gravitates toward those who have healed their relationship with it. Let me ask you something. When you think about money, what happens in your body? Do you feel expansion or contraction? Do you feel excitement or anxiety? Be honest with yourself right now, because your body's response to money is telling you everything about why you don't have more of it. Most people tense up when they think about money. Their shoulders rise, their breathing becomes shallow, their stomach tightens. This is the physical manifestation of their inner conflict with wealth. And this conflict is costing them everything. You've been programmed to believe that wanting money makes you greedy, that having too much means someone else has too little, that rich people are somehow morally inferior to poor people. These beliefs are running your life from the shadows. They're sabotaging every opportunity that comes your way. Here's what's really happening. You're unconsciously pushing away the very thing you say you want. You work harder to compensate for your inner resistance. You think if you just push through, if you just try harder, you can overcome your subconscious blocks. But that's like trying to drive with the parking brake on. You'll burn out the engine long before you reach your destination. Watch what happens in your mind when you see someone driving an expensive car. Do you admire them? Or do you immediately create a story about how they probably cheated someone, inherited their money, or got lucky? That story you tell yourself is revealing everything about your money consciousness. Rich people see that same expensive car and think, good for them. I wonder what they did to create that success. They're curious instead of resentful. They're inspired instead of intimidated. This difference in perspective is worth millions of dollars over a lifetime. You need to understand something crucial about how wealth actually works. Money doesn't flow to the most deserving. It doesn't go to the hardest working. It flows to those who are most aligned with receiving it. Those who believe they deserve it. Those who can hold it without guilt, shame, or fear. Think about this for a moment. How do you feel when someone gives you a compliment? Do you accept it gracefully? Or do you deflect it, minimize it, argue with it? If you can't receive a simple compliment, how can you expect to receive large amounts of money? Your relationship with receiving is your relationship with wealth, period. And most people are terrible at receiving. They've been taught that it's selfish, that it's wrong, that they don't deserve good things. So they work themselves into the ground trying to earn what they could simply allow into their lives. This is why you see people winning the lottery and losing it all within a few years. They had the money, but they didn't have the consciousness to keep it. They couldn't handle the internal pressure of having something they didn't feel worthy of receiving. Let me share something that might make you uncomfortable. Your financial situation right now is a perfect reflection of your inner relationship with yourself. If you don't value yourself, others won't value you either. If you don't believe you deserve abundance, you will unconsciously create scarcity. You price your services based on how much you think you're worth, not based on the value you provide. You accept lower salaries because you don't want to seem greedy. You undercharge because you're afraid people will think you're too expensive. All of this is self-worth showing up as net worth. Here's where it gets really dangerous. You start believing that your struggle gives you virtue, that your suffering makes you noble, that your sacrifice proves your worth. This is spiritual materialism in reverse. Instead of using spirituality to get material things, you're using material lack to feel spiritual. But there's nothing enlightened about being broke. There's nothing noble about struggling unnecessarily. There's nothing virtuous about denying yourself the resources that could help you serve others more effectively. The wealthy understand something you might have missed. Money is energy. It's a tool. It's neutral. The meaning you assign to it determines how it shows up in your life. If you think it's evil, it will feel evil when you have it. If you think it's corrupting, you'll corrupt yourself to get it, or sabotage yourself to avoid it. But if you understand money as a form of energy exchange, as a way to create and contribute, as a tool for freedom and service, then it flows naturally toward you. Not because you're working harder, but because you're aligned with its true nature. Watch a wealthy person make financial decisions. They don't agonize over every purchase. They don't second-guess their pricing. They don't apologize for their success. They make decisions from clarity, not from fear. They operate from abundance, not scarcity. You, on the other hand, might spend hours researching the cheapest option for everything. You negotiate your own price down before anyone even asks. You feel guilty when you spend money on yourself. You operate from the assumption that there's never enough. This scarcity mindset is exhausting you. It's making you work harder than you need to. It's keeping you trapped in a cycle of effort without results. And the cruel irony is that the harder you work from this place, the more you reinforce the belief that money is hard to come by. Here's what you need to understand about the wealthy. They've learned to make money work for them instead of working for money. They understand leverage. They understand systems. They understand that their time is their most valuable asset. So they protect it fiercely. While you're trading time for money in a linear exchange, they're creating assets that generate income while they sleep. While you're thinking about your next paycheck, they're thinking about their next investment. While you're focused on working harder, they're focused on working smarter. But here's the deeper truth. Their ability to do this didn't come from superior intelligence or better opportunities. It came from a different relationship with themselves and with money. They healed the internal conflicts that keep most people trapped in financial struggle. You have the same capacity they do. the same intelligence, the same potential. What you don't have is their internal programming, their beliefs about what's possible, their comfort with receiving, their permission to be wealthy. Right now, you're probably thinking about all the reasons why this doesn't apply to you, why your situation is different, why you can't just change your mindset and expect money to flow. This resistance you're feeling, this is exactly what's been keeping you stuck. Your logical mind wants to argue with what I'm telling you. It wants to insist that hard work is the only honest way to make money. It wants to maintain the familiar struggle because at least struggle feels noble. Success might feel selfish, but I want you to consider something. What if your financial struggle isn't helping anyone? What if your limitation is actually limiting your ability to contribute to the world? What if the resources you're denying yourself could be used to help others in ways you can't even imagine yet? The people who are making the biggest difference in the world, the ones solving the biggest problems, creating the most jobs, funding the most charities, they all have one thing in common. They learned how to generate and manage wealth effectively, not because they're greedy, but because money amplifies impact. You can't give what you don't have. You can't help others financially if you're struggling financially. You can't fund your dreams if you don't believe you deserve to have them funded. Your limitation isn't serving anyone, especially not you. So here's what needs to change. First, you need to become aware of your internal relationship with money. Start noticing your thoughts, your feelings, your body sensations when money comes up. Don't judge them, just observe them. Awareness is the first step to transformation. Second, you need to challenge the stories you've been telling yourself about wealth. Where did these beliefs come from? Who taught you that wanting money was wrong? What experiences shaped your financial identity? Most of these programs were installed when you were too young to choose them consciously. Third, you need to practice receiving. Start small. Accept compliments gracefully. Let others pay for dinner sometimes. Allow people to help you. Stop over-giving to compensate for guilt. Learn to receive without immediately trying to give back. Fourth, you need to shift your focus from working harder to working on yourself. The external world is a reflection of your internal state. Change the inside, and the outside has no choice but to change as well. This isn't positive thinking, this is practical psychology. Fifth, you need to start making decisions from abundance instead of scarcity. What would you do if you knew money would always be there when you needed it? How would you price your services if you weren't afraid of being rejected? What opportunities would you pursue if failure wasn't financial death? This work isn't easy. It requires you to confront parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. It requires you to take responsibility for your financial situation in ways that might feel uncomfortable. It requires you to give up the victim's story that's been protecting you from taking risks. But here's what happens when you do this work. Money starts flowing more easily. Opportunities appear out of nowhere. People begin paying you what you're actually worth. Work becomes more effortless and more effective. You stop burning yourself out for diminishing returns. More importantly, you start living from your authentic power instead of your compensatory effort. You make decisions based on what feels right rather than what feels safe. You pursue opportunities that excite you rather than ones that merely pay the bills. The wealthy person you admire didn't get there by accident. They got there by developing a different relationship with themselves, with money, and with what they believe is possible. They learn to think like someone who deserves success, rather than someone who has to earn the right to be successful. You have that same capacity. Right now. Today. It's not about changing your circumstances first. It's about changing your internal relationship with those circumstances. It's about healing the split between what you want and what you believe you deserve. This is the real work. This is what creates lasting change. Not the hustle, not the grind, not the sacrifice, the inner work that aligns you with the natural flow of abundance that's always been available to you. You've been swimming upstream your entire life, working against the current of your own subconscious programming, exhausting yourself, trying to get somewhere that you could reach by simply changing direction. The river wants to carry you, the current wants to support you, money wants to flow to you, but you have to stop fighting the current long enough to let it happen. Your struggle with money isn't a character flaw. It's not a moral failing. It's not proof that you're not good enough or smart enough or worthy enough. It's simply the result of programming that's no longer serving you. Programming that can be changed. The question isn't whether you deserve to be wealthy. The question is whether you're ready to believe that you deserve to be wealthy. Because the moment you truly believe it, the moment you align your inner world with that truth, your outer world will have no choice but to reflect that alignment back to you. Stop working harder than the rich people. Start working on yourself the way the rich people have worked on themselves. The money you're chasing will start chasing you. The success you're struggling for will start flowing to you. The life you're fighting to create will start creating itself through you. Let me tell you what I see happening in your life right now. You're caught in what I call the effort trap. You believe that if you're not struggling, you're not trying hard enough. If it comes easily, it can't be valuable. If it doesn't hurt, it doesn't count. This is keeping you trapped in a cycle that will exhaust you long before it enriches you. Picture a river flowing downstream. Now imagine someone trying to swim upstream against that current. They're working incredibly hard. Their muscles are burning. They're gasping for air. They're putting in maximum effort. But they're barely moving forward. Sometimes they're actually moving backward. That's you right now with money. Meanwhile, there's another person who understands the current. They position themselves correctly and let the river carry them. They're moving faster with less effort. They're enjoying the journey instead of fighting it. They reach their destination refreshed instead of exhausted. The river doesn't care who works harder. It carries whoever aligns with its natural flow. Money is exactly the same way. It has its own current, its own natural flow. And you've been swimming against it your entire life because someone told you that's what good people do. Someone told you that easy money is dirty money. Someone told you that if it doesn't hurt, you didn't earn it. But here's what no one told you. The wealthy people you admire, they figured out the current. They learned to move with it instead of against it. They discovered that alignment is more powerful than effort. This doesn't mean they don't work. It means their work feels different. It feels inspired instead of desperate. It feels creative instead of reactive. When you're aligned with the flow of abundance, work becomes play. Challenges become adventures. Obstacles become opportunities. You're not pushing against life anymore. You're dancing with it. But to get there, you need to understand something crucial about your current financial situation. Everything in your external world is a perfect mirror of your internal world. Your bank account is reflecting your self-worth account. Your income is reflecting your inner sense of value. Your financial stress is reflecting your internal relationship with security. This might be hard to hear, but your money problems aren't really money problems. They're deserving problems. You can work 100 hours a week, but if you don't believe you deserve success, you'll sabotage it. You can have the best business plan in the world, but if you're terrified of being seen as greedy, you'll keep yourself small. You can have incredible skills and talents, but if you think charging premium prices makes you a bad person, you'll always be undervalued. This is why lottery winners go broke. This is why people with sudden wealth often lose it all. This is why some of the hardest working people you know are also some of the most financially stressed. External change without internal change is temporary at best. Think about that person in your life who constantly complains about money. They work multiple jobs, they're always hustling, they never seem to have enough. But watch what happens when they do get money. A tax refund, a bonus, a gift. Where does it go? It disappears almost immediately. There's always an emergency, always an unexpected expense, always a reason why they can't keep it. This isn't bad luck, this isn't coincidence. This is their subconscious mind protecting them from having something they don't believe they deserve. Their inner thermostat is set to a certain level of financial struggle. Whenever they rise above that level, the thermostat kicks in and brings them back down to their comfort zone. You might be doing this too. Think about the last time you had a financial breakthrough. A new client, a raise, a profitable month. What happened next? Did you celebrate and build on that success, or did something go wrong? Did an unexpected expense eat up your gains? Did you somehow find a way to return to your normal level of financial stress? If this pattern sounds familiar, you're not broken, you're not unlucky, you're not cursed. You're simply operating from an internal set point that's lower than what you actually want. And until you change that set point, external changes will always be temporary. This is why the wealthy invest so much in personal development. They understand that their external success is completely dependent on their internal programming. Here's something that might shock you. The people who pay you are hoping you'll charge them appropriately. They want to feel good about the exchange. They want to know that you value yourself so they can trust your judgment about everything else. When you undercharge, you make people uncomfortable. You create an imbalanced energy exchange. Your relationship with money is revealing your relationship with life itself. If you believe you have to struggle for money, you probably believe you have to struggle for everything. Love, health, happiness, success, all of it feels like it should be hard. This is exhausting you on levels you don't even realize. But you don't have to prove anything to anyone, including yourself. Your worth isn't determined by your productivity. Your value isn't measured by your output. You deserve good things simply because you exist. This is the fundamental shift that changes everything. From earning your worth to owning your worth. From proving your value. The wealthy person wakes up knowing they deserve success. They make decisions from that knowing. They take actions from that certainty. You wake up trying to earn something you already have, trying to prove something that's already true. This is the difference that makes all the difference. When you truly understand this, everything shifts. You stop working from desperation and start working from inspiration. You stop chasing money and start attracting it. The work becomes effortless because it's coming from your natural gifts rather than your compensatory effort. This is your invitation to step off the treadmill of endless effort and step into the flow of natural abundance.